Hey everyone, it's Jeremy with Kid City. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been given a special responsibility? It could be something as simple as a chore or maybe assisting your teacher. Some responsibilities include things like helping your little brother or sister or watching over them with your parents not around. Have you ever been given a responsibility like that? We've all been given different responsibilities from time to time. But did you realize that God gives us all a very special responsibility? Did you realize what that is? God has trusted us with his message of love and forgiveness. He has given us a great responsibility to be an example of Jesus' love by loving both others and God. And he promises that one day he'll return to see how well we've handled that responsibility. Last week, we saw Jesus using a parable to teach a lesson. Who remembers what a parable is? A parable is a story used to teach something. Well, today we're going to read about another parable Jesus taught. Today's parable is about two servants, one who is faithful and one who is wicked. Today's story is found in Matthew chapter 24. In verses 45 through 47, Jesus says, "Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom his master has set over his household, to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is the servant whom his master will find doing so when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions." So, what does the faithful servant do well? Well, he takes care of his master's household. This isn't just his house, but actually everything that he owns, even including the rest of his servants. Jesus continues in verses 48 through 51. "But if that wicked servant says to himself, 'My master is delayed,' and begins to beat his fellow servants and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and in an hour that he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites. In that place, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Wow, that's pretty extreme. So, what did the evil servant do poorly? Well, first we see that he partied instead of taking care of his master's household. Second, we see him mistreat and even abuse the other servants. The people and things in parables usually represent something. So, do you know what the master and the servants represent in this parable? Put simply, the master represents God and the servants represent people. The household itself is the world God has given us to live in. This includes things like your school and house, your family, and the job that you'll one day have. God cares about how you handle all these things. In this story, we're like the servants who are responsible for what his master put him in charge of. God gave us this world, our bodies, our friends and family, and even the responsibilities that we have, like chores in school. And he expects us to work hard at these responsibilities and treat others around us well. Of course, none of us will do this perfectly. We should try hard at things like school and work and treat others the best we can. But God knows that we will fail and sin against him, which is why he sent Jesus to earth. Jesus is the ultimate example of being a faithful servant. He used his limited time on earth to fulfill the mission God the Father gave him. He loved and witnessed those around him. And he was so faithful to God the Father that he was willing to die on the cross for our sins in order to fulfill God's plan for him. But of course, Jesus did not stay dead. He rose from the dead, and one day he'll return to judge whether or not we've been faithful servants of God. We may not know when he's coming back, but we can still be prepared by admitting that we, like the evil servant, have sinned against our master. And since we know that Jesus already died for those sins, we can choose to have faith in him and follow the perfect example he set for us. Again, we're not expected to do this perfectly like Jesus. Thanks to his sacrifice, we get to place our faith in him and not in our own abilities to be good enough for God. What we are called to do simply is to trust and honor God and to spread his message of love to those around us. Today's big picture question is, how can we be prepared for Jesus' return? And the answer is by choosing to love and live like Jesus. Make sure you check out our Kid City Praise videos this week, as well as a breakdown of the Family Worship Guide down below. Hope everyone's having a great week, and we'll see you next time.